Destiny keep on calling me. Shawty, I'm right here where I wanna be. Tuning my mind at higher frequencies. I ain't never go wrong when I trust my intuition.
What's up, y'all? I am Aries Kae. I'm a singer, rapper, and songwriter. And today I am here with the one and only Sleazy Easy. I had the honor of having her feature on my latest single Phases off of the Taurus Moon EP. So what is up? Welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for hopping on and being here with me today.
What's up, girl? Thank you for inviting me. I'm honored. You know what I'm saying? I'm glad to be touching base finally, for real, for real.
Yes, of course, of course. I don't have like an official name for this interview series yet. So like kind of thinking about it before, and I'm like, you know what? Like I kind of like fireside chats with Aries Kae. So, you know, it brings like the fire into it because I'm a fire sign, but I don't have a fire. I have this red thing behind me, but there's no, we'll just pretend that there's a fire going over here and that'll just
Yeah. Well, I'm sitting by the fireplace, so I think we good. We good.
Great. Perfect. That is perfect. Cool. Well, okay. So I have so many things that I want to talk to you about, and I'm super excited to get the chance to talk to you. So before we get into all of that, just maybe go ahead and introduce yourself. Like, let the people know who you are from your words.
So, what's up, y'all? You know, my name is Sleazy Easy. They call me the Sleaze or the motherfucking Sleaze, depending on who you're talking to and who you're asking. I'm from New Orleans, Louisiana, the West Side, so the countryside. 27. I've been making music since I've been making music forever, but I guess you could say I started training and honing in around like 16, 17. And I got my first like industry opportunity at like 21. So, you know, they call me a late bloomer, but nothing feels late about this. It feels all right on time, you know what I'm saying? So I always like to say that when I introduce myself, you know. I'm an alternative hip hop artist. I dibble and dabble in R&B. I'm a producer, engineer. I'm also like a slash social media manager for a couple of people. But yeah, I do all kind of stuff. I do whatever I got to do to make it happen, you know. And I preach being yourself and happiness. So, you know, whoever you are is enough. And whenever you see me, make sure you say that back to yourself.
Love it. I love it. That's awesome. I like what you said about not being a late bloomer too. Like that's kind of just like a whack phrase. Like it's kind of ridiculous because it's like, what is compared to what? Like
right.
Who said that it's late? You know, like we take our time, and so many first of all, so many artists lie about their age. So
oh my God.
Right? It's like I'm pretty sure, well, I don't want to call anybody out, but I'll just say I'm pretty sure there's artists out here who are like 10 years older than they say that they are. And you know.
I know for sure.
You know it, right? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But I mean, it takes time to do this, especially like as an independent artist and being on that type of grind, and you have to do everything yourself, like, and just being able to find your authentic self, which is so much a part of your artistry and your brand and mine as well. That's a different thing. It's one thing to get up there and just kind of do like the whole song and dance, but it's another thing when you're really trying to make a difference. And
I agree with that. I think the bigger your vision is, like the longer it's gonna take to get to, you know, the more hands you're gonna need, the more eyes in the fire. Like it's not gonna be as quick. Like if you're doing something that's already being sold, that's already promoted to the public, that's already just so well received, you know, it's easy to get in there and then get out and really not make no personal impact that you might be satisfied with, right? And we can all go get a check. We all want placements, you know, we all want to do a festival stage, we all want to turn up in the club, but like, you know, a few of us want to leave a real legacy. You know, I care about how people felt about me when they met me more than if they like my songs or not. You know what I'm saying? Because it's different when you just trying to like leave a big legacy and you following behind footsteps like Erykah Badu and Outkast and all these type of artists that are not just famous. They're not just big names. They made big changes in culture, not just hip hop, in culture, in Black culture, in American culture. So, you know, it take a while. So you really never bloom in late because 2 Chainz, and that's all I'm gonna say. 2 Chainz like 50 exactly. Bar, 2 Chainz like 84.
Yeah. No, it's so true. It's so true, man. It's like, yeah. It's very, very much a process. And another thing, not to stay on this for too long, but like this is something that I think about all the time. I think a lot of it also has to do with like masculine versus feminine energy. And that's like that's a huge, like, I just think about that a lot. That's like a big theme in this project for me. And I've been tapping more into the feminine, which I think our whole society has. And that feminine energy takes time. Like masculine energy wants results, and which is great. Like this is not like a, oh, and that's not right sort of a thing, but it's like, there's a time and place for that. But like masculine energy wants to see results and wants things to happen right away. But feminine creative energy, like womb energy, that's like, hey, we're gonna get something that we create into this world. There's no time for like, that's on nature's time.
Right.
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 Yeah.
No, I agree with that. That was actually very well said. I'm gonna have to bring that up in future conversations.
Yeah, for sure. It's just something that, yeah, I think that's like a different lens to look at it through. But yeah, so cool. So you talked a little bit about your story, like kind of getting into music and how you started. So go tell me a little bit more about that. Like kind of dive in on your journey thus far.
Okay. Well, I like to tell people about how I started. So like when I started, I was drawing like as a little kid. You know, I used to ask beg my mama to give me like crayons and color pencils, and my father could sing, so he kind of just gave me that natural ability to like hold a note and sing and sound really good. So you know, my mom and them, they was like church going black people, so I was up in the church, and since I could sing, I was in the choir. So now my pipes busting, boy. You know what I'm saying? My shit busting, right? I don't even be using it like that. But I did all that, and then that kind of exposed me to just like live instrumentation and music. And then when I got in high school and I didn't really have nothing to do, and I already was kind of like straying away from art and going more into like street activity and shit like that. And my mom was like, "Fuck no, you gonna be in a band or something." So I joined the band, and like that made me fall in love with not just the sound of music, like overall, but just like what makes music what it is. What do these instruments mean to the song? Why do they come in when they come in? And this is side of rap, right? I was rapping, I was writing raps, I was freestyling in school, but this was helping me build myself into a career musician before I even knew it, right? So when I graduated and I was just like, you know, I was a view man, I was just cool, and you know what I'm saying? Like I didn't really know what to do. I had a little clout in the city just from Vine. And then I just started pushing my music on SoundCloud so my homies could listen to it, because I knew I made good music. I was inspired by people like Mac Miller, Wiz Khalifa, Kendrick Lamar. So these were some heavy ass people to be trying to imitate at a young age. And what that did for me back then in that generation made me a trailblazer in this one. So now we bring in that old feeling back of you being able to go watch a Wiz day to day, and then go to a meet and greet and actually get a meaningful interaction and see that your favorite rapper care that you invested time and energy and money. You know what I'm saying? So I think from all that, now we at this point where it's really starting to become something very tangible. And I know that's very quick to say, but we definitely doing like a whole little thing. So I could kind of explain what it was like being, you know, gay and being like a woman and then coming out as trans, non-binary, you know what I'm saying? Like that was a whole nother thing, but that's so recent. I can't even tell you how it's affecting it. But yeah, it's been a journey. You know, it's definitely been like up and down, and it's not easy, but it's doable.
Yes, it's like one foot in front of the other, and it's where you're supposed to go. Okay, so you said a lot in that. So I want to touch on a couple of things from this piece right now, because
Absolutely.
first of all, talk to me more about your journey coming out as trans, coming out as non-binary, and that whole piece. And I know you said it's a little early for you to tell like where that's gonna ultimately go, but what does that mean to you now? Like what's that impacting, and how are you impacting that community today?
So I've been non-binary, right? I've been existing like this, right? Then, you know, the way people was perceiving me, like people never really perceived me with a gender. Like I had all male friends growing up, so you would think that they would like treat me like a boy, but they didn't really treat me like a boy. They didn't really treat me like a girl either. And that's when I really started to explore my identity. And I have a couple of homies from like art school when we was like young, and they're like furries. And I don't know how much people know about that community, but they're very LGBT friendly, very like just all of that, right? And talking to them kind of taught me about like what it is to be trans, what it is to be a real member of this community. And then I was like, damn, I actually might be non-binary. And then when I learned that non-binary is trans, like that kind of empowered me because I was like, well, I already was representing women so well in the game and kind of like being this pinnacle for them. And now I can still be that, you know, and also be that for people who don't conform to these binary identities. So I think personally right now it's a big thing. And then for me, it opened my mind and actually made me a better person, made me more open to conversations because I wasn't perfect. You know, like I'm in the South, Black, coming from my generation, you know, we had a whole bunch of transphobic, homophobic ways when we was younger, and we didn't even know really what it was. But like being this now really like healed me. Outside of me discovering myself, it wasn't even really like that for me because I nothing changed about me physically. Like I'm getting top surgery, but that's it. Nothing really changed about me physically. A lot of it was mental, emotional like growth that I went through, and how it's reflected in my music is it took me from this box that I thought being gay would put me in. It took me out of a box that the streets put me in and put me in a larger ocean for the whole world to receive me, for me to just spread. And I mean, it's beautiful. And I really can't wait to see the next 5 years of my career, like what it does and how I touch my community and how I can maybe open doors and help people and just let people see somebody like them up there for once that's not saying all this stupid shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, that is so beautiful. I love how you said that it's like an ocean because it is so interesting because yeah, even the way that things are, and the way that people are, like we always want to put into categories and boxes or whatever. Not that there's never like a useful time for that, but for you to
Right.
be able to say like, oh yeah, I can still like represent for women in the game, but that doesn't mean that I have to be exclusive to that. Like I can be myself. I can also represent non-binary people. Like everybody's experience is valid and necessary. And like people in that community need like a space because it's so lacking. And so for you to be able to kind of bring those two things together and not have to choose one or the other, like not like good job for that because it's like it's
Thank you.
hard. It's really hard. And especially when you get like from more of a music business side, people want you to be so targeted with like your brands. And it's like, well, you got to choose this or you got to choose that. And it's really refreshing. Like I see you out here and you're not like I see that you are choosing all of it. You're not like, oh no, I'm gonna only have to choose this, but you're also not saying that, like, you're not saying, oh, I'm not going to choose. You're like, no, I choose all of it.
I love it. I love living in it, honestly. Like, I kind of just let the universe do all the work. Like,
Yeah.
I'm just a vessel for the energy that's supposed to be spread. You know what I'm saying? And like, I feel like the way the industry is, because we already know we got to play the game regardless of how we feel, regardless of we know the world gonna get better in 10 years or not. We got to play the game. And I think that an advantage that I have in this position that the universe put me in is I'm very well received by people. So we can, it's easier to give queer people proper representation when you can get in the door faster. And if I'm in the door, then I'm kicking that bitch down and I'm bringing all the homies with me, whether you like it or not. And we putting these people in these fucking seats. It might not even have to be me because I don't think I'm the most politically correct or like, you know, just perfect person for the job, right? But there is so many people that's doing so much work behind me that I'm like, man, if I get in, they could change the world. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna happen though. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen.
Oh,
We're gonna touch back on it when it happens too.
Yes. And we'll look back at this conversation, which these things do happen. It's manifestation. And like it does, sometimes it takes one person to be like that voice, but then people that come alongside you, like they're making change in their own right. And that's like amazing. So on that note, I want to talk a little bit about your community and you know, the New Orleans community. And by the way, I feel like I say that horribly. I'm like a Northeast girl, so like I'm like,
yeah, it was bad.
It was like bad. Like so bad. I don't even know. Like I'm gonna stick with NOLA. I think I'm just gonna stick.
There you go. I like that. Yeah.
I could say that. So yeah, I'm like New York, Connecticut, so it's all different. But and so anyway, but my music roots are in the Inland Empire, California, and that's where I got my start musically. And I see that kind of like mirrored in your community out there, like grassroots community organizing. It's like a huge, super dear to my heart, like huge part of my artistry. And you know, our community is popping. We have like a huge, like an amazing, thriving hip hop scene, but also just music in general, and people who are really trying to make a difference. And we got like amazing artists who are like all about positivity and kind of, you know, presence and that like, okay, we're here to bring something good and to bring change, and it's all going to be done in love. You know, artists like Noah James and Cam Gnarly, and we got some big producers coming out of our zip code like Hit Boy. So you know, we're like really doing the thing. But I noticed you're part of a collective called Global Warming, right?
Yes.
And so tell me more about that. Like how does that kind of interact with your artistry?
So basically with global warming, their goal was to take artists that were in our positions, right? That they saw had all this potential and we had some type of buzz, but for some reason we may have not been reaching our market, or we just didn't know how to take our career to the next level. And as you can see, we went from like, you know, me and the homies like Crucial and them, like we was getting booked. We was getting paid, but when global warming came around, that booking fee went from 150 to 450 to 550, because now we're on BET, we're on NAACP, you know, and they came and just flipped my shit upside down, made me have to pop my pussy for real, because this, like, I'm talking about, is no way to describe the type of blessings they brought in my life. It was like if Jesus Christ just came down out of the sky and was like, I'm about to sprinkle this fairy dust all over the world. Like, seriously, it was so real. Like it turned, like I believe in myself. I know this shit is real, but they made it very much so a daily thing, to the point where now I don't work. Like, I'm a full-time artist, I'm a freelance graphic designer, so that's how I pay the bills. But rap is literally giving me the money to be able to put it right back into that part because of global warming. I mean, we got studios, we got office space, opportunities, constant bookings. You're constantly booked, which means, and I'm sure you know about this type of shit, once you start getting booked for these certain type of events and you got a track record, then you can start doing what all artists do when they get grown. Grants. Yeah. So then you can actually make a living because you're eligible for these. I've never been eligible for a grant except for college, and that was like a $2,000 piss poor grant. Yes. Global warming got me getting like $1,000 grants. I'm like, yo, this shit is crazy. And then it doesn't stop with us. We're good now. They're gonna bring us up, but we good now. They're looking for the next niggas who need that help, you know. So anything like bringing me to the next level, all global warming.
Sweet.
Shout out to Nate. Shout out to Wine. Shout out to Pell. I gotta give them their props because they literally are so unselfishly doing this shit.
Yeah.
And it's very hard to be unselfish.
It is. I love it though. I love it. That's amazing. It's amazing what you said about grants too, because that yes, that part.
People don't know because niggas be like, how you surviving? And I'm like, because Jazz Fest just paid my rent, no cap, like, you know.
Exactly. Yeah, because especially lately, like especially over the last couple of years, we've seen people wanting to reinvest in artists, right? Like wanting to actually make space for people who have something important to bring to our world, because it's messed up. And it's like, okay, no, but people like, for artists like us, it's more than just the music. It's also about change making. And I think that's the thing that certain people are starting to get hip to, like, okay, yeah, we should be investing in that. Like that's like a worthwhile place for us to put our grant money, because these people are going to be doing something that's now giving back to the community. And, I mean, that is like the classical part, like that's what an artist is supposed to be, right? Like that's been for like centuries and generations, like throughout time, throughout cultures, like that's what artists do. And I feel like we kind of lost sight of that a little bit with our like modern machine, but it's so refreshing to see other people, and it makes my heart happy because, you know, we have our scene out here in the IE, and it's like, you know, to see other people doing something like that, it's like, okay, hey, like you're out, like we're all out here, and like it's cool to be able to connect and make that
no, I agree.
Yeah, just make that connection between those two worlds.
No, fact, yeah, it's definitely dope. And I feel like, you know, I said something like on mushrooms like 2 weeks ago that was so profound that I couldn't stop thinking about. It was like, us being artists is the closest thing to the natural human existence. And I think that that's why they're getting back to it, because we seeing that this shit is not working. We were born to frolic, you know, and artists of all mediums frolic and make change and bring people together and spike thought, you know, spark feelings. I think that we need that right now because capitalism has literally ruined us. And now we about to take all them dollars, we about to pour it into people who are going to heal the people, because we are humans and we need to sustain our existence, not just monetarily. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. Definitely. Yeah, I love that. That's so true. That is absolutely our role. And like, once we know that, then we can really like step into that role. And so I want to talk a little bit about phases. And before we kind of get into that, I forgot to sort of touch on how we got introduced. So let's go in that direction first. So I got introduced to Sleaze by Basie Bob Brockman, who is a producer and engineer and vocal producer and Grammy Award winning. And you might know him from, I don't know, like Fuji's The Score and D'Angelo Brown Sugar and What's the 411 and like the Ready to Die album. And you know, like every one of like our greatest hip hop albums, like all the stuff that we used to listen to as a kid, like all that. So
Bobby, baby, Bobby.
Yep. So like
Bobby.
It's Bobby. Yeah, exactly. No, he's the shit. He's amazing. And I love him. And he's so like, he's such a humble human. And he has like this Buddhist like vibe and this whole like chill thing. And so I first met him like back in the day when I first started doing music before I was Aries Kae. And I was recording some of my first singles at Capitol Studios in LA. And he came in and vocal produced me. And I loved working with him. And like, he's so chill, he's so cool, but he's like meticulous and kicks my butt in the studio, like for real. Like we're like with Phases, oh my gosh, you should have seen that session. There's like 100 vocal stacks and I was in the booth for like 10 hours.
No, same. Look, oh my God, like when he first played this song, so like I met Bob through Global Warming and my manager Ebony. And he kind of already knew who I was. And like, you know, Bob is very LGBT, like ally, like Valentina as fuck. And he like took a liking to me just from like before the music really set in. Like, I just liked his energy. I just liked the fact that he was kind of like an out the way type person. Like, I'm gonna make this shit, but I'm gonna let you have the, you know, and like we just connected. And I love Bobby. That's my baby. I'm supposed to be going by his house in a couple of days. But when he played Phases, I was like, yo, he was like, you want to hop on this? Because, you know, I know that you're trying to explore, you know, other genres and just build your sound on a higher level. And when I heard the song, I was like, not only did you pen the fuck out that shit, girl, like you sung the fuck out of it. You like, you could tell that you meant it. Like it was, when I heard that song, it was one of them songs, like when you hear some shit and you be like, I gotta write to that right now. You know what I'm saying? And like I had so much shit going on that I was trying to like get to it, and Bob finally called me and was like, let's do this verse, baby. And I'm like, let's do the fucking verse, Bob. And when I went in and did it and I heard how it came out, like you inspired me so much to speak from a certain place of what I was actually going through currently at the time. And girl, I mean, shout out to Bob for that, because he really kind of guided me through a couple of things that actually elevated that verse. So shout out to Bobby for that, for real.
Awesome. Yeah, it was such a blessing. I had that open verse and I was like, I don't really know like what direction I want to take this. I'm not really sure. And your verse, like it changed the whole atmosphere of the song in the best way. Like it added to it and it took it to like a different stratosphere. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's amazing. And it was, yeah, he was like, just trust me. Like, I know this artist, like they're amazing, super, super dope. And like up and coming and really making waves, but also like coming from the same kind of perspective as you know, when it comes to music. And I was like, okay, I love it. Like, let's just make it happen. And so, yeah, oh my gosh, it's been such
Here we are.
So tell me about it. Like, what was your thoughts like from the, like writing that verse? Like what was going through your head?
I think, the phases that I was touching on as far as internally was the phase of me transitioning from being a hobby artist to a career artist. And what that was making me feel like as far as my relationships with my friends, my relationship with myself, my relationship with the divine, what was changing, you know, what was going on. And I thought, you know, even from the first line, like Destiny keep on calling me, like I had another line, another song that was like, I said, it took me buku long to realize I'm Destiny's child, right? And I've been thinking about like, people always tell me like, you got it. And for some reason, I'm so fucking humble, or I've been humbled so badly throughout life through trauma, that I'm so humble that I didn't see that for real. And when I said that line, it just led to the rest of the verse, because I was like, Destiny keep on calling me. And that was just beaming in my head. And that just let me go on to like what I had to do to match up with that destiny that was calling me, and what phases was I going through, and not necessarily describing them verbally to be specific, but describing the essence, describing the existence.
Definitely. I love that. That's awesome. That's super powerful. Like that first line, Destiny keep on calling me. It's like, okay. And the second part, like, but Shawty, I'm right here where I want to be. Like, I'm right. It's kind of like I see where I'm going, but I'm also like cool right here. Like it's gonna be a thing because like that's how we have to take this journey. And I've been right there too. Like well, it was actually now a year ago, like I quit my 9 to 5 and I made this music thing the full-time thing. And I matchmake on the side. So I'm also a matchmaker. And that has been like an amazing, like cool thing to do alongside the music, and is actually kind of, I guess they sort of work hand in hand, which is cool. But yeah, like taking it as a career versus as like a hobby or like an avocation is a huge step. And there's so much more to that than a lot of people realize. And
a lot of acceptance.
Yeah. Yeah. And like, and what she said, like that how life has humbled you to kind of almost not see it in yourself. I think that for a lot of people, I know for myself, like that has been the biggest obstacle to this. But also, yeah, it's double-sided because it's an obstacle, but it's also a blessing, because with that comes like a lot of depth, a lot of strength. And I think that's what probably makes you and me the type of artist who can actually connect with people and help people. Because if you don't have that, it's almost like you're just setting yourself apart. Like you're kind of, you're in a different world, and it's like, oh, it's me and all my little people down here. And it's like, that's definitely not the type of artist that I'm trying to be. And I'm sure you're not,
right.
And it's like, but you have to go through some shit in order to really understand how to not be that way.
No, I agree 100%, 100% sure.
Yeah. So it's like taking up our own space, like, and just giving yourself permission to do it. And every single morning when you wake up, like nobody's going to do it for you. Like, yeah, you have people who come in and help along the way, like global warming, like you said, but that only probably happened because you made the decision that you were worth it, because the universe would have brought you that had you not made that decision.
Exactly. It's very scary. I think a lot of fear holds a lot of people back. Fear is going to hold you back. You got to look fear in the face and say, fuck you, real life. When you have that tingle in your stomach before you go on stage, when you have that tingle in your stomach when somebody says, I want to introduce you to this person, I want to do this. And you be like, and I got ADHD, so personally, my body will just reject any type of chore I have to do in my life. Yeah. And I just, like, I'm like, my ADHD will have me being like, do you really feel like moving? Like, let me just work that brain and procrastinate you for 5 hours and let you miss this opportunity. And like, I have to sit there daily and deny that feeling. You deny depression. You deny anything that keep you from making these decisions of bettering yourself. And you can't be afraid of change. Change is gonna build you and it's gonna mold you. And like Larry Jones said, you'll be good, nigga. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. Oh yeah. No, it's amazing. It's amazing. Everything that you're saying resonates so deeply with me. And that change is hard. I mean, even as you were saying this, like there are certain things that like I fear, things that I have to break down. Like even this morning, I was journaling about it, and I'm like, do I go and like just face down the fear, even if I feel like I'm literally gonna die? Or like, do I try to make myself comfortable? And so like, thank you. That was actually really good confirmation for me. Like, no, I need to say like, fuck you. I need to look it in the face and say, fuck you. Like, you're not gonna take up my space. There's no place that is off limits for me. Like, I'm just gonna like stomp on these demons real quick and get to where I'm trying to go.
Exactly, because there is no place where you will be that is not for you. Because if it's for you, it will be for you. And if you're supposed to be there, you will be there. I can't tell you when, and I can't tell you why or how, but it's gonna happen.
Right. Absolutely. So, okay, a little bit about those live performances, and kind of like, because you're out here every time I see like you on my feed, you're in a different place, you're performing somewhere new. So tell me about the importance of live performance to your artistry.
Right. So we both just talked about how like, we're artists that can connect well with people, and it's not difficult. We don't have that like wall in between us and our supporters. that makes it way easier to really maximize live shows when you're thinking about it logistically. Because if you're thinking about it logistically, you connecting with those people, no matter how much you jump, you know, I don't really even jump up and down on stage like I used to when I was young and used to do all that hard rap. Like, you know, my music went more alternative. So now it's more of like showing my skill set to people, letting them be wowed by that. And also, you know, pinning this shit to make sure people feel it when they listen to the words, and, you know, designing, you know, set deck, you know, making sure you got a good outfit, making sure you're not trying to do too much. You know, if you're a person who you're trying to focus more on the energy with you in the crowd, you want to just wear a basic outfit. You don't want to get too fly. If you're a person who just going to be more of a stage presence, you want to get real fly. Like, it's really important to really mold these shows to what you need them to be and make sure you connect with these people. Because if you don't connect with people, you just going to get on that stage. You're going to be a nuisance for your whole set time. And then people can't wait till you get the fuck off of it. And I'm speaking from experience because I am not just a artist, I'm a consumer. I consume music more than I even make it. I'm a fan more than I am a business person. Like, I'm a super fan. I meet people, and if I like you, I'm buying merch, I'm going to shows, you know, I go to rap shows. I just like music culture. I'm one of the people where if I was a rapper, you'll probably see me at all the rapper showcases. I'll probably be working the door because I just got to be around the shit, right? And I be seeing shit where it's like, people don't really care to connect. People don't really care to have the music curated a certain way. They don't have no hype man. And if you don't have a hype man, you don't have no rehearsal. It's very important to just look at what you want people to see you as in that moment, and you got 15 minutes to do it. So before you get on anybody's stage, go look at how to perform. Go watch your favorite rappers perform. Who music does your music sound like? Go watch them perform. You know what I'm saying? And you will be A-okay. Don't think about it. Don't overthink. Don't tell anxiety that whole can't win no more fights in this house. Don't think about it. Like, literally just get on that stage and do what you got to do. And I mean, it's very important as far as selling merch. If you want to make a living, you want to impress people, you want them to buy shirts, you want people to take pictures with you, you want to talk to fans. And that's how you get to know your audience too. Because when you see how they dress and how old everybody said they was that night, that is metadata. That is data that you need to have for the ugly, nasty, evil business stuff. Yep. Get that metadata from those real people, and you enjoy those conversations, and then go give all that data to your manager.
That part. No, it's true. I mean, it's so easy to do online because it just tells it to you, right, in your analytics. Right. But there's something about live that is so important because you can make the connection and you can see people. And you can say like, okay, I connected with this person. When you meet that person who actually like comes up to your face and looks you in the eye, in the flesh, and is like, hey, this really was impactful to me because whatever. Or like, I just fuck with it. Like, I just enjoyed it because it made me smile. Like, it doesn't always have to be a heavy thing. Then that's fuel. Like, that's what keeps you going on the hard days when you're like, do I really feel like doing this today? Like, do I really feel like getting in the studio or writing or doing what I have to do and sending these like emails out and doing all like, but that person, that it impacted them. And so it's like, yeah, I do.
No, for real. And like, I could tell you this, like, just from personal experience, like doing shows in New Orleans, and like, I started doing live shows. Like, I would give my music to my homies, but once my homies was like, yo, you should really try to rap. You should see if they got some place you can rap in New Orleans. And we found Writer's Block, which was my first showcase. Shout out to Austin Levy. He gave me my big break in rap because it was like maybe like 50 person like in the audience showcasing you rapping for other rappers. So it was a way to network with people who make music like you and maybe build collectives, but also like get fans, because obviously all those rappers in those rooms are not going to be career rappers. So they're going to eventually translate into fans, right? Yeah. So I would do that, and I started killing live shows. Like, I started like, my shit is busted. I'm not even afraid to say it now, to the point where I walk around my city and people will be like, yo, I haven't gotten a chance to listen to your music yet, but I cannot stop singing that song using the show. Yo, I love this. I mean, I can't go anywhere in my city without being recognized by at least, I would say I get recognized by at least 5 or 6 people a day if I go outside, right? And I thought that was gonna make me so Hollywood, but it actually humbled the fuck out of me, because it made me be like, yo, fuck imposter syndrome. That bitch could never win another fight in this house, because I cannot sit here and tell myself to stop when they got strangers who I don't even know their age, name from Adam and Eve that's telling me to keep going, you know? So I definitely think it's important, like, to do shows in your city, or wherever you do shows. I would suggest your city, but wherever you do shows at, like, yes, like kill it, because people are gonna keep you going. People gonna walk up to you, and like you said, even if it's not heavy, just seeing other like lesbians and sapphic couples and non-binary people walk up to me and be like, "Yo, I've never seen a fucking non-binary rapper look as cool as you on the stage," and it's like, good, I got your back. Now let's do this shit together, and we're gonna get another one coming right behind me.
Love it. Yes, love it. No, totally. And like you said, like you can't, at a certain point, the momentum builds and you can't tell yourself that you're not it. Because it's like, no, I see it. Like I see it. People resonate with this. Like it matters. And so,
Even if you ain't feeling it.
yeah, even if you don't feel it, like the facts are on the ground. Like you can see it. So, yeah, I love that. Okay, I just have like a couple more things, 2 more questions. One that I really wanted to ask you was your sound. So specifically the sound that you kind of tapped into in phases, but also just your sound and as it's evolved. Like I went back and listened to like some of your records, like from further back and like kind of more recently, and like your sound has evolved and changed, and it's like all so dope. And I love like the kind of harmonic stuff that you're doing in the rap, like all of that, you know, it's like the type of shit like Bone Thugs, you know, like the different like, you know what I mean? Like all the different sort of like tones, but then like Earth Gang kind of gets into that place too with like,
yes,
you know, like different vocal processing and stuff. So talk to me about, I guess, how you have tuned in and really found your sound vocally.
Mac Miller.
Okay.
My literal, he is the reason why I have a career in rapping. Because when we was trying to figure out how to make me a rapper, me and my homeboys who have no rap or music or business experience at 17 years old, 16, in our first car, smoking weed, bullshitting, Mac was the blueprint. Yeah. And I'm also like, excuse me, we have similar personalities. So I always felt like I was a little too weird to do this shit. But Mac is weird as fuck, or was weird as fuck. And that kind of like just listening to his music, like when I was younger, it would be like, oh, I'm a copy. Like, you know, I'm gonna just try to do what he does to get better at what I do. And then like, as I did that, I developed into like, you know, I self-express from my real life. I will write music for people and I will tell stories, but most of my music is literally expression of how I feel and how I exist. So it's like doing that and building on these elements that Mac had in his music. And like you said, the harmonics, and then like, you know, being very, you know, cultured and connected with my community as a Black person, and just listening to the music that we made and how we impacted the history of music. And I just noticed like the more different and the more truthful and honest the music was, or the people were trying to make the music, the more it gave a sound that had not been created before. Yeah. So I just created based off of those energies and elements. And then I just like stopped listening to rap and started listening to everything else, and then stopped listening to everything else and just only started listening to me. And then it was a period of that time where it was like, that's when my music changed. That's when I can't explain to you how I do it now, because after I did all that, now it's just, I go in and I just make sounds. And I guess it's because my library is so vast as far as what I listen to. Yeah. Then I'm absorbing all these sounds. I'm not just thinking about boom, 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 boom. If I think about that, then I'm coming with the zap, funk, right behind that motherfucker. And people not thinking on them two frequencies because they only listening to Da Baby, Lil Baby, and Future. Yeah. But since I listen to everything, it has evolved me, and I'm not afraid to change. So I just changed. Like, fuck it. If I end up going from rap to alternative Lucky Day style music, then nigga, if I end up being K Tronada in fucking 10 years, like that's what it's gonna be, you know, because that's what's necessary for my personal growth.
Yes. Yeah. I love that. And that's where that's what's so cool about like the genre of alternative hip hop. I love that genre as much as there's like, you know, some sort of like controversy around it, that being like its own genre, like, nah, fuck that. It is definitely a space for people to take something that is such like an iconic and cultural movement and to continue to grow it. Like how it doesn't have to stay like stagnant. You know what I mean? Like it can continue to grow and move and change. Like you said, the energy, you just listen to yourself. Like I do that all the time. Sometimes people be like, okay, what are you listening to? And I'm like, I don't listen to anything right now. Like I'm in writing mode. Like I'm listening to me, you know? And
me and podcasts.
Yes, like I'm outside listening to like the trees and then I'm writing. I don't know what to tell you. Like, I'm sorry.
Right.
So, yeah, it's definitely it's definitely cool to create from that space, and it's having amazing results for you. Like your sound is super fire and different, and I love stuff like that. Like anything that's unique, different, unexpected, I'm all about that. So okay, last thing, just, and you've given so many gems like already, so if there's any last thing that you could tell up and coming artists, up and coming independent artists, just for a little bit of like encouragement or any tips, like what would you say?
Do it right or don't do it at all, bro. Not even on that mean business tip. Like what you have and that you believe in, it sounds good. People telling you it sounds good. You have all this potential. Take that potential and go learn. Go learn about all the stuff that they use to steal from you. Go learn about all the stuff that they use to get over on you. Go learn what those people who are not talented, go learn what they do to be successful, because you're talented and you can change stuff. You can change the world. This means more to you. You care about your fans, all that good shit, right? Well, don't let that make you an angry, angsty, mad rapper, bro. Like, learn and apply that and be the change you want to see. And accept that early. Accept it early. Don't accept it at 27. Accept it at 21. Accept it at 19. Accept it at 18. Start now. Do it right. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. Don't be afraid to be honest. Grow as a person. Like, all these things will make you successful. Know what you want your success to be. You do not have to be Beyonce. You don't even have to be Smino. You know what I'm saying? You can be in your city playing gigs for the rest of your life and become a local legend. Or fuck legend. You can be playing gigs for the rest of your life. You can only be getting sync placements. You can be a song, like, be open, be honest, and do it right. You know what I'm saying? And you will never go wrong. No cap. And don't listen to nobody but what's up in here. What's up in here is gonna guide you. And I'm not saying be stubborn and don't take advice. I'm saying when you get this advice, when you get in these rooms, listen to this feeling and then go in that direction. Because this has never stood me wrong. I ain't never been in my feelings. Ain't nobody ever had no beef with me. I ain't never fucked up an opportunity for myself because I was offended. Nothing like that. Because I only ever went where this took me. Go where that took you and go where you celebrated and not tolerated, bro.
Yes. I love that. That's great advice. Okay, so y'all hear that? And if you need help, ask for help.
Absolutely. Ask for help, please. I don't care what kind of trauma you've been through in your life. Go see the lady. Go to therapy. And then come back and then ask your partners for help. Let people help you and let people love you and love yourself. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Awesome. I love this. Thank you so much for coming.
I love it too. This was awesome.
Amazing. I love it. Like, the energy is so great. And I feel like I just learned a ton from you. So thank you for that. And I'm just excited that we got to build together. And thank you again for like hopping on that song and hopping on the project and just all of it. I really.
Girl, this not gonna be the last time either. I'm getting you on something else. And anytime you need a verse, call me. I'm about to be pushing out verses a little faster. Now that I'm used to the rap business, I got a little bit more time to actually rap.
Yes, I love it.
Nobody told me that you wasn't gonna rap once you became a rapper. I'm like, well, damn.
Yes, right. I know it's like 10% of it. The rest of it is all a bunch of other stuff. So
theatrics. I'm like, what the fuck is this? I should have been. People like I'm born in the wrong generation. I definitely should have been born whenever Kendrick was born.
This has been Fireside Chats with Aries Kae and the amazing, the wonderful, the illustrious leazy. Thank you so much for coming on. We have very much enjoyed having you.
I've been enjoying being here. You enjoy the rest of your day, and all y'all motherfuckers take all this fucking advice and just go apply it. Stop thinking about it.
Yes.
All right. I love y'all for real.